Hi, my name's Ganitiba the Science Scout, but you could just call me Gal. My goal is to help you know everything there is about compound microscopes. Let's get started.
Galidimo, 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 the Science Scout. Galidimo, 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 the Science Scout. Near.
Do you have tangly hair? Do you need a break? Try getting a brush. It can help you get tangle-free hair in an instant.
Now we're going to do supplies. First, you'll need a compound microscope. I use Amscope as my brand, but use whatever you can get. Then you'll need a slide. Make sure you don't break it since it's glass, but this will go on your stage. I'll show you how to set this up later. Our specimen today will be salt. It's easy to look at and it's good for beginners. I put mine in a medicine cup, but do whatever you have available. You can also have an optional notebook and pencil. You don't need this, but it's good to record your findings. I decorated mine and I'll show you in another video how I set mine up. I also have a lab coat, but this is not necessary for the experiment we are doing today. I'll get right back to you soon.
If you go to cnnpetcare.wordpress.com, you can find a lot of things about animals. You can find microscope things and even just things about animal topics and all about them. If you scroll down, you could message us and click on other related sites. You could go to CNN Pet Care Micro or fish at CNN Pet Care, but we'll go to the microscope one first. You could find all about the animals we take care of and about beach water, and you could also find out about plants. If you go further down, you'll find more related sites, and you could go back to CNN Pet Care if you always want to visit again. Then you could go back down to other related sites, click on Fish at CNN Pet Care, and learn all about the fish family. You can meet the fish and get to know about us. Send us a message and tell us what you want to hear about. We'll do it as soon as we can. Go to cnnpetcare.wordpress.com for more information.
Let's start with the parts of the microscope. First, you have the eyepiece. You could take it out and switch eyepieces. Usually the first one's 10x and the second one's 25x, and you might have more, but let's just start with one for now. Then you can change your nose piece, which is down here, to change your objectives. You have 3 objectives usually, and there might be a possible 4, but let's again start with 3. This is objective 1, 2, and 3. When you look on something, you start at objective 1, which is the lowest. It doesn't look that much at the specimen. Objective 1 is usually 4x, 2 is usually 10x, and 3 is usually 40x. It says it on the side. And to get how many actual magnification you're getting, you multiply the eyepiece by the objective. So if I had objective 1, I would actually be looking at 40x. And then you always start with the lowest objective. And you start with your stage all the way down to look at something, but we'll get more into that later. These are your stage clips, which help you hold the specimen so it doesn't fall off on the side. And then this is your stage. You move it up and down with the coarse adjustment knob, which is the big knob, and the fine adjustment knob, which is the small one. The fine adjustment knob doesn't change it a lot, so that's why it's called the fine adjustment. You do this last after you do the coarse adjustment knob. This is your light source. If you turn on the microscope, you'll see that it lights up. You can adjust the brightness with different knobs. This is the diaphragm opener, because the diaphragm keeps track of how much light gets through. If you turn it, you don't always have this, but some microscopes do. This is how bright your light goes. That's the brightest, and that's the lowest. You want it bright enough so you can see, but not too bright, but it will hurt your eyes. Later on, we'll get into where we'll have slides to look on our specimens. But for now, we don't have any since we're not looking at anything yet, but we will in this video. If you turn it around, you'll have your switch to turn it on and off. This is also where you can plug something in so you don't have to use a battery. But I use a battery usually because it is easier to move. Those are the parts of the microscope, and now let's start looking at salt. Let's start looking at salt. You're going to need to make sure that your stage is all the way down. Remember, use the coarse adjustment knob and try to figure out if it happens when you turn it away from you that it goes down, if you turn it towards you that it goes down. Mine goes away from me, and that's what most microscopes are like, so make sure yours is also like that. Put yours all the way down and then change the objective to objective 1, which is the lowest, so it should be the smallest objective. You always start looking at something with the smallest objective so it's easier to get it in focus. Then you're going to move your stage clips out of the way. Do this by just pressing down on the side towards you and moving them. Do it on both sides so that way it'll be easier to get your slide on. Then you're going to need to take your salt and your slide, and I recommend putting it on a surface that is okay if it gets a little messy, because it's not easy to put salt on a slide. Now you're just going to sprinkle salt barely on a slide. You only need a few grains, but it's not easy to get that, so just try to get some in the middle. Then you're going to take your slide with salt on it and slowly put it on the stage. Don't hit any objectives and try not to slide it on the stage, just lift it and lower it. Try to get a grain of salt right under the objective lens. Once you do that, move your stage clips over the slide, but don't cover up a grain of salt. Do this the same way you put them off, just twist them the other way. Once you do that, you need to turn on your microscope, because now we're about to look at our specimen. Once your microscope is on and the slide is all set, you need to look into your microscope. You probably can't see anything yet, but that's okay. All you have to do is move the coarse adjustment knob while you look into the microscope and make sure that you don't hit the objective lens. So if you need to, look away from it like this, but try to look in the lens to make sure you can get it as focused as you can with the coarse adjustment knob. Once you think you have something set, you need to use the fine adjustment knob, which is the smaller knob, and get it even more focused. After that, you need to grab your eyepiece and move it, because there's an arrow on it, and get it to where you're pointing at a grain of salt. All you have to do is twist it. If you want to, draw a picture or take a picture of the grains of salt. I'll put a picture up so you can see it, and this is how it's supposed to be. After you get everything clear with objective 1, you need to move to objective 2. You need to look at it to make sure you're not going to hit the slide with the objective. If you are, you need to lower the stage. But if you're not, then you're fine, and just make sure you're not going to hit it at all. Then you're going to do the same thing, just instead of using the coarse adjustment knob, use the fine adjustment knob. And again, make sure you do not hit the objective lens or it will break and be ruined. If your salt has gone out of range for the eye to see, then you need to move your stage or your slide over a little bit so it'll be easier to get into the objective lens. Now let's move to objective 3. Some material can't be seen under this, but we're about to find out if ours can. Remember, make sure you don't hit the slide. I'm going to, so I am going to slowly lower my stage. Then I'm going to try again. I can't see anything, so that means that I need to slowly move it up and make sure I don't hit any lids. Picture, so that means that I couldn't see it clearly at objective 3, but I'll still take a picture to show you what it looks like. Since we couldn't go all the way to objective 3 clearly, we would say that this is objective 2 material. Now I'm going to show you how to clean up and not mess anything up with your microscope or your slide. To clean up, you're going to turn off your microscope. Then you're going to slowly lower your stage, but you need to remember which way makes it go down. You then need to move your objective lenses to make sure that it's always set on the lowest one. Then move your stage clips. Make sure they're off the slide. You need to grab your slide, but be careful not to break it or anything else. And pour the salt off in a trash can or a napkin that you will throw away later.